92 points. Lots of numbers. Lots of ruckman, really. Lewis, big Lobie, just hammers it onto the left boot as much as he can, but couldn't clear the danger area. And Birchall, another one of those left footers to line them up.
So congested. More often than not, the quick kick out will fall short. That's why you've got to be in front of your opponent. That's why Birchall did such a good job. He was first to react.
And the better sides don't just blaze away like that. They'll use their handball to link up, and that was just a panic kick from Lobie there.
Birchall to try and hammer it back over the head of the defenders. I was going to say line ball, but in the end it wasn't. It's just Hawthorn's 18. And it's easy from here, Lloydie, but I mean, you're right. The days of this little kick away just about are gone, aren't they, with the way teams line numbers up?
There they are, and they have just been rudderless today. No structure whatsoever, and no system, and you're not winning the football.
Pearce with the right boot now kicks it in the butcher direction. He was pushed off it by Schoenmakers. Mark taken by Murphy. No free kick. A bit lucky there, Hawthorn. Suckling, Shields, loose player wide. There's Bateman now. Bateman can run. Decides to chip it towards half forward. Working into space is Sewell. Chaplin after him. Sewell paddles to his own advantage. Then Hart to control. Well, brilliant pick up by Smith. Oh, tackle, he didn't have it by Thomas. And Smith will take the free kick at half forward.
The first half, if all those loose players for Hawthorn, Port have shut that down, and you only ask the question, where was this intent in the first half when you need it?
So Smith goes for distance and goes for Franklin, who waits at the back. There's a whistle. This time it's a Hawthorn ball. And the free kick is paid against Carlisle to Buddy Franklin.
Yeah, we heard Clarko complaining about the freeze, but just stopping Buddy's run at the footy, pinning the arm down. That was there for everyone to see. No doubt about that free.
So against the odds here, Buddy Franklin. 4 goals to his name. The weight of expectations on his shoulders. I think he's defied you, Lloydie.
Yeah, he has.
He's kicked his 5th goals for the year for Buddy Franklin.
That's what Buddy does. He worries defenders, and Carlisle just didn't want him to jump.
Out by 98 points now, Hawthorn. 47 at quarter time, 92 at required distance. He chips inside, attacking 50. Burgoyne got across, couldn't take the mark. Birchall, well tackled by Cassisi. Good pressure this by Port Adelaide. Now, what's the umpire going to do? They couldn't get the ball out, and a free kick to Hawthorn. It'll go against Selipek.
Left knee there, Chris. They look pretty proppy coming off the ground. They've made their substitution, so can't get too much worse for Port Adelaide, but maybe marginally it's about to.
And Salter's been moved on to Buddy Franklin. I've seen him. He isn't great with his body work just yet, Salter, so I don't like the chances of him if they get one-on-one chances.
Bateman gets it to Smith, who switches to Gibson. Sets Gibson a task here. Hitchcock is pretty speedy. Gibson does pretty well. The right boot spreads it wide. Pressure coming from Schultz on Schoenmakers. Schoenmakers did well to keep his feet. Found the ball first. From half-back delivers to Rioli, who's been quiet in this quarter. He kicked 5 in the opening half. Smith thought about looping it over the top to Bruce, and instead goes back. Burgoyne is in the corridor. Kick the half forward. Guerrero's drifted down from half back. Wants his left side. Loose players, and can he find one of them? Yes, Whitecross, what a mark. He's called play on. Gee, the umpire a bit harsh there.
Said there was a Port Adelaide touch in it.
No, don't think so.
Well,
not really.
No, should have been paid.
Nah, that's good enough.
All right, let's see what they can do with it now. Just tackle. Try and keep the squeeze on. Cassisi tries to back out of there.
Freely in front of us right now, but he's certainly concerned about that knock.
Robbie Gray's clearing kick, quickly marched down by Murphy, and then Gibson tries to find the path. Goes short to the skipper, Hodge. Just on the brink here, too far out to score, you think. Anyway, Franklin's going to lead back to the goal square. Hodge might fancy. No, he decides that he'll go short. And Lewis couldn't help but mark that. What a kick.
Great kick from Hodge, the eyes, and they've done pretty well. Port Adelaide have held
Here's the kick. Bang. Little give to Suckling, and he finished it off.
Now to 104 points as we look at the Hodge kick, the daisy cutter finding Lewis. And good little give here to Suckling, who is a beautiful kick of the football. Look.
Those young players are having such an impact this year for Hawthorn. Here's Westhoff, bombing away to half forward. Jostle for position. Schoenmakers really did that way too easily.
And I questioned him only 10-15 minutes ago. The skill there, but he seems like he's started bodying Butcher, and it's really paying dividends.
Now here's Rioli. We can rely on him to give us a highlight or two. Back to Schoenmakers. They're going to try and wheel their way and arc around this Port Adelaide defensive structure. Suckling, we know with that left boot, what's he got for us this time? Into Birchall. Gibson kept on coming, almost within striking range. Up she goes for Franklin. He back in, and then moved forward. He did that very, very easily. Think about it.
Just a minor concern down here for Hawthorn, Hutto. Luke Hodge came off the ground seemingly in some distress. Spoke to a couple of the physios. He's on the ground at the moment receiving some treatment for a lower back. Maybe he's just seized up or tightened up a little bit there, but he did appear to be in a bit of discomfort when he came off the ground.
13 disposals for Luke Hodge in an avalanche. But we're watching Buddy for number 6. Oh, he's got it worked out now, Lloydie. Out to the right, back to the left.
And Chaplin lost his feet, so they go inboard and then go back out to the other side. And Josh Gibson, his best mate, Lance Franklin, just put it to his favourite side. And Carlisle it was, lost his feet. And with Buddy, as he said, he's zeroing in. He's had a few siders from there and looks due for double figures today.
But the umpire having a little bit of pity on him there. Trengove poking it down. Now Birchall's escaping after receiving from Shields, and they're into the 50 already. Rioli was going to give to the man Bateman just passing by. Instead, Rioli decides to go the journey himself. Never quite got it on line.
Plays it back and across to Westhoff. Jacobs. Short. Oh, Jackson Trengove couldn't mark. He drags the ball back under. He's in real trouble if it doesn't come out. I'm tipping it does come out, luckily for him. Bateman. Lewis. Well, with the outside of the left boot, that was brilliant stuff.
There's 3 there, weren't there? They were looking at each other.
And Smith will kick for goal from 45.
Here we go again.
Handball off to Suckling. Winds up on the left boot, and this time he misses. And drew a little.
Thomas eventually. Murphy got back to make the job more difficult for the full 40. Roden almost created a turnover. Gibson has got an opportunity, and Bateman's running loose for him. He just ignores him, and instead they decide to take things a little slower on the way out. Eventually Hodge gets it to Bateman, and they've still got the loose man over the top in Smith, who's waiting now at half-back. So definitely not the same free-flowing nature with the ball movement that Hawthorn enjoyed in the first half. Being forced to work a bit harder and use some setups to hit some lead-up players, and Suckling's had enough of it, decides to go around again to try and take a different avenue, and Bateman on the southern wing takes the mark. Whitecross has kept on coming, and so has Schoenmakers, and it's Schoenmakers who releases into the 50. Bit of a standoff there. Rioli not quite. Puopolo, nice little handball. Franklin the no-look. Shields left foot bouncing. Another goal. And joy about the Hawthorn play at the moment.
Smart there from Rioli. Just looked to tap it down in front of himself, and great chain of handballs to Shields, and he's the 10th goal kicker for Hawthorn today. Really good spread.
Now advantage taken by Pearce. Kane Corns, good to see him back on the ground. Selipek over the top. Oh, he's got nowhere to go and coughs it up. Just panicked a bit. Bailey to Lewis. And the switch on again. They worked so hard to get to the open side of the ground to create an avenue. Whitecross wobbles it wide towards Rioli. In the way Broadbent. Good tackle, Rioli. Didn't have prior opportunity, and that was a hard call because the ball spilled free. Had no prior opportunity. And a bit unlucky there, but Rioli's got it, and the mark's taken by Birchall on centre wing.
Who must decide whether to go long or not. Decides to go to the captain. The call came from Luke Hodge. And then across for Suckling. They can work this members side. Burgoyne will just take it. Still 70 metres from goal. Lewis, he could go to next or longer to Franklin. Franklin in amongst two. Up and over she goes. Takes the mark, and he's worn one there. Mouthguard comes out. Bit of discomfort. Maybe a bit of back or just general soreness.
Brilliant grab from Franklin.
Gee, they stood a long way off him.
They did.
Gave him so much space in the pocket.
And then he copped it too with a bit of momentum front and back.
Yeah, you'd think Chaplin or Carlisle would be closer than that, not even in the frame. He was up against Lobie and Westhoff, who had to make ground. It's rare we see him take shots from this side. He loves it on the other side of the ground.
So no chance, Lloydie?
No chance.
Franklin opens it up for his 7th. No chance at all. Not a hope. After the first two, Lloydie, you were going so well at that stage. He really did open up the angle, didn't he? He was still able to sort of use his normal shape.
Some great work from Franklin.